This is good. You guys want to see a fun game? Don't judge the dead gray. They pee a lot right there. Frank, stay. Winston, get it. Now wait for it. Get it. This is when Frank, well, he's supposed to go after Winston. Now he's not. Oh, he's smelling Charlie's pee. Frank, stop me. No. He licks up her pee. It's weird, man.
The last episode, we saw the oil in the engine looking less than perfect. This episode, we're gonna dive in and find out exactly what happened.
That is right. The last time we took a dive into this thing, the oil looks terrible. So we're gonna start tearing this thing down, figuring out what's going on with it, what we need to refresh, replace, so on and so forth. So let's dive right in, off the high dive, straight into a concrete, waterless pool. That's how this feels. It is worth noting that the individual that I received this vehicle from told me that the whole car needs to be redone. So if you're wondering at home, like, did Logan get scammed? No, absolutely not. I scammed myself, is really what happened. Self-scam! Get in my face, I'm a self-scammer, dude. I did already loosen the valve covers this morning, so I know what's underneath here. But I'll show you all. Oh no, hopefully I don't drop any parts into the engine while I try to do this. I should wear my Ray-Bans, probably help with the whole situation. But cool thing here, HKS, that's pretty dope. Shimless buckets, if you can see. Shimless buckets on a 2J is not a cheap endeavor. And what that means is the buckets, they don't have shims because they're shimless buckets. Factory, you use shims with a shimmed bucket, and these are shimless buckets. It also has billet mains, but that is cool. Shimless buckets, not a cheap conversion. And head studs are L19. You can see that, L19. Which L19s are fun. L19s are, it's a material that you can't touch with your hands. Like you touch it with your hands, you get the oil from your hands on them, and then they break apart. It's a mild exaggeration, but they do not do well with outside contaminants like oil on your hands. They will, there's way more intelligent people. If you subscribe to this because you think you're gonna learn something, I'm sorry, off the jump, I'm very sorry. All I will do is regurgitate stuff I read on the internet and then pretend like I knew it all along. But the L19 thing I actually have experienced firsthand. We had an engine that was completely bagged, wrapped, L19 mains, and we were standing by the engine room where you just hear like what sounded just like almost like a soda can opening, just a pop, and there's a main stud sitting at the bottom of the bag. It had been torqued in a climate controlled environment, and at some point that material, the stud got touched by something and it ate away at the stud and it finally gave way. So again, I don't know what anyone else, literally any other channel than ours to learn specifics. This is not an educational place. Or it is, but you're learning the wrong stuff. Dude, you gotta have your super nice engine teardown mat that has not sat outside and gotten peed by all the random raccoons and such. I really shouldn't wipe it down because I heard from Steve Morris that raccoon piss is really good for bearings. 1305. Hey Steve, good job, man. Yeah, bro. You did so good, man. I'm so proud of you. 1,305 wheel horsies. Gallop, baby, gallop. We're going running. They locked me in the bathroom for, I guess, being too loud or whatever. And if you don't believe me, you go over to Steve's channel, you say, Logan from Clapped Out said you use raccoon piss in your motors. And he'll be like, how did he know? How did he know? That's exactly what he's gonna say. You gotta pop this balancer off, which is always fun. These snouts on these cranks, well, these balancers rather, are interference fit. And also, this is a 2JZ crank pulley removal tool. It may look like a T45 half-inch drive socket attached to what can only be described as a really, really nice crank pulley puller, but it's not. This is a 2JZ. It's a custom tool. You can buy it on my website. 2JZs are supersick.net. Off to a really cool start, though. And it looks maybe like someone might have just gotten a little wild with a Sawzall on these for some reason. So that's a good... The crank threads look like they're okay, though, so that's good. All right. Hobgobbled up bolt selection, but hopefully it does the job. Oh, no. Easy. Been a minute since I've been inside a 2J. However, it's all simple. You got your tensioner there, your crank sprocket obviously right there, your crank sensors right there, your timing marks. You don't really need to look at these though. You kind of just wing it. Your serpentine tensioner, your cam gears, blah, blah, blah. So we'll pop tensioner, we'll pop this cover. It's held in with 110. It's supposed to have two, but it's just got one. I'm guessing that's for weight savings. It's just got the one. You got to save the weight where you can. So we'll pop that cover off, get all this stuff out the way, water pump, etc. Basically, I want to get to the point where I can yank the cylinder head off and turn this turd upside down and start pulling main caps and rod caps. It's not even tight. Some crustiness inside the old water pump. Nothing I didn't really expect. The tensioner's pulled, got the idler pulled, all that stuff's pulled off. So the front of the engine, we're basically complete. I do wonder if this is, one of the big things on these two is they'll weld the reluctor to the actual crank sprocket. And I don't know if this is a welded one or not. I'll try to get that sucker off so I can see. The front junk's off the engine with the exception of the oil pump. The cams are out, all the buckets are organized where they were because I don't want to have to redo all the clearances. And all of the head bolts are now loose. So we can get the rest of these suckers pulled. See what's underneath. Ready to go. Trying not to spill a bunch of oil all over myself. This is not in a good position at all from a yanking standpoint, but I'm going to yank it off as good as I can. I was born to yank off. All right. Not terrible, right? What I'm going to do is pop these studs out. If you remember, I was talking about how these are pretty temperamental, the L19 material. So glove up, get them in a clean pan, and hopefully I don't screw them up. But I don't want to buy new studs. It's too much money. Everything's so expensive. Oh, that's a good start. The last two. Let's take this dowel with me. Dude, this is what I was talking about. The oil pan, I put a bolt through the oil pan, so I got to pull that bolt out to be able to flip this thing over. The old Harbor Freight stand is not set up for 2Js. Not that it's not a 2J friendly situation, but it's not 2J friendly is what I'm saying. But I'll pop oil filter adapter off with the oil cooler hoses. And motor mounts I'll pop off too, just to get this thing as bare of a bare block as I can before I start tearing the rods out of it. The oil filter adapter is really not trying to come off. So, oh my God. I'm lifting the whole motor up. I got the poo on me. My first day, I don't know what to do. You know what we need? Very nice breaker bar. Extra special breaker bar. Watch this be reverse thread. I'm just an idiot. Wouldn't be the first time. Son of a bitch bastard. Woo-hoo. Got you. It did. It about blew my sphincter out on that one. That was rough. Shoo! I need to go back to the gym. One motor mount. Ha ha ha. Don't lose the bolts. Because I generally lose the bolts to everything, which sucks. One thing I don't like about these glasses is they pick up my breathing, like really loud. Come on. Okay, cool. Cool, super dope. It's cool. Make me look like an idiot for all my internet friends. Or internet enemies, honestly. Everyone. Oh my god, dude, what in the hell, dude? Holy sh... Okay. Let's get the breaker bar back out. Where's my super custom breaker bar? Oh, this one's already got a little turd on her. See, a little turd adapter? Burp, 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 derp. Oh my gosh, dude. Why are motor mounts that tight? What are you doing? This ain't the Starship Enterprise. I'm making sure it could go Mach 12 in outer space. Good Lord. Man. You. Grody, dude. Man, I need a nicer work. Oh. Where'd that come from? I thought I drained you. You silly Billy. Are we done? Are we done pissing oil everywhere? Every nook and cranny, dude. It just hides. It just sits there and festers and just waits. It's just a little sketchy when you loosen up the only bolt that goes through the oil pan, and then the block starts to come off the engine stand. And you're just like, I hope these other 3 bolts stay strong, because right now, if you're wondering, Logan, why don't you hit this hole? Well, because it doesn't line up. Get this lower oil pan back off. Man. It's just a little terrible. So my assumption is somebody pried up on this corner a little aggressively maybe, and that's where that came from, because I almost did the same thing just now. But whoever glued this thing down was very serious. But once you get one side off, the rest of it kind of comes fairly easily. One of the cool things about the original turbo blocks is they have piston squirters. So you see down there, it has a main oil galley that feeds it, sprays the bottom of the piston, gets the piston nice and lubed up. Looks like Crower rods, and I'm guessing CP pistons. Billet mains, again, I don't know what brand these are, if they're Real Street or Titan, or I can't recall what my Real Street ones looked like, but pop a main cap, see what the bearing looks like. Drop the washers. Okay, so bearing's not spun, which would be weird if it had a spun main. Oh yeah, that thing's smoked. You can't see it, but you might be able to hear it. Probably not. But this thing's had some junk run through it. There's some heavy grooves. The crank looks, I think it's got some, it's okay. It'll take out and polish. If this is, I mean, this is obviously the first one I've pulled, and I don't know enough about 2JZ main priority oiling to know which bearing gets first or last, but I checked thrust first. It was a stick car. They half-miled it. There's my sweat that just fell in the motor. That's cool. I cannot work in a mess like this, and I tore this thing down in this corner of the garage just to make some content, but my OCD is just going to destroy me if I don't clean this stuff up. So I have the Supra out of the garage. I have the Corvette now out of the garage. I am actually going to go to Lowe's and make some shelves for underneath this rolling. This originally is not a rolling table. I added casters, welded adapters, nuts to the bottom so I could put it on casters, and I'm going to do some shelving underneath it so I can make this the go-to place to reassemble engines now and in the future. But again, I gotta get some supplies to make that happen, and I just can't. This is just giving me the most anxiety. A couple project panels and some bent metal, and all of a sudden we have a 3-shelf rollable unit, so I can now move all the stuff for the engine to the bench and have a nice clean workspace. All right, now I'm gonna pop all the rods. I just pulled that one main just to get eyes on the crank. So I'm gonna pop the rest of the rods, all of the rods and pistons out of this thing, set them up on the table, take a look at the bearings, and then I'll go back through one at a time and I'll knock out all the main caps too. Let me take you on a little journey. So that's cylinder 1, cylinder 2, cylinder 3. You know which one's next. It's cylinder 4, and then you got 5 and 6. So all of the rod bearings don't look great. The good news is none of them spun. They were all intact, so both shells were in the right place. And then on the main bearings, that one looks good. The second main looks okay. You probably can already see the third main, fourth, the fifth, sixth, and seventh. Now these are the 3 center mains, obviously. And you can see that this crankshaft was kind of doing some noodle action. I'm guessing upper RPM, when that thing starts to get a little shaky, it's touching off on bearings. So I will measure, obviously, but I'm probably going to go back with the looser bearings in the center. The good news is the crank does look like it's going to be okay. So this is that first roached up bearing, middle, obviously, thrust, and then the number 5 is over here. So all of those journals look okay. I still got to pull the rear cover off the back of this thing to get the crankshaft out. But this is, I mean, it was really disheartening to see, but knowing that the crank looks okay makes me feel better. So I'll still get the crank polished. I have to make sure that crank's never been cut either, because I don't even know what bearings these are. But I'll pull the bearing shells out. I'll see what they had running it before, and I'll measure, order a couple split sets of bearings, some X bearings and standards, and then get this thing back, hopefully back in shape. It's gonna be a little more work than I wanted, but at the same time, it is what it is. Right? I have a bunch of cleanup work to do. I gotta get this engine hot tanked, not pressure. No one was gonna tell me that I had a giant grease smudge on my upper lip / nose area, making me look like a certain figure from history. Anyway, that's all we have for this episode. I'm gonna try to put some more stuff together the rest of this weekend, but no promises because I'm already sweaty and I'm already tired and I'm already mad at how sweaty and tired I am, and greasy and nasty. And also, everyone that didn't say anything about the greasy smudge on it's still there.